Hi, everyone. It's Meredith again from the Axe Agency. Today, I am super excited. I have one of my favorite groups on the entire roster, and actually one of my favorite groups in the opera genre here. This is the amazing Vivace, and I happen to get them all together at the same time. How cool is that? So, hi, guys. Welcome. Yay, yay, yay. The goal here is to tell you some things that you might not be able to get from any of their promo videos. So let's just dive right into this. First of all, before we get started, why don't you each take turns formally, officially introducing yourself and tell everyone who's watching actually how you got to be part of Vivace, how long you've been with Vivace, all those kind of good details. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go first. Hi, my name is Joel. I live on a horse farm in Pennsylvania. So I got to meet Tiffany in 2015. I was actually a huge Vivace super fan, and I drove to one of their shows in the States, and we went out for drinks and dinner, and it was really nice to get to know the singers and to sit down and talk to them. And I started singing in the beginning of the year in 2017 with them. So about 2 years now that I've been part of Vivace, and I just love it.
Woo-hoo. Rocking it. Vivace, I might add. Rocking it. That's awesome. Yeah. So Tiffany, one of the founding members here, yes.
Yes, I've been with Vivace from the start. So we were actually under a different name called Vivace in 2010, and then we rebranded as Vivace in 2012. So I've been with Vivace since the very beginning.
And I might add that right from the start, because you guys have always just had that magical vocal sound, you guys got to do a very special appearance, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, actually, our very first show as a quartet was at the 2010 Winter Olympics.
That's just unbelievable. For obvious reasons that you guys were amazing, but who starts in the Olympics, you know?
It was no pressure at all.
No pressure, no pressure. So, Melody, you have quite an incredible story as well.
I am also a member as from the beginning. Started out with Il Voce and onto Vivace, and I'm an opera singer, classically trained, and I've been singing with Vancouver Opera for about 15 years, and I've performed quite a few roles with them, as well as I just took a leading role last year as representing the Native population of missing and murdered women, and that was probably one of the most impactful things for myself for my career that I've done. It's an amazing experience. But I bring more of the opera flair to Vivace, and I love singing with these guys. It's really amazing.
Awesome, wonderful, and last but definitely not least.
My name is Gabriel McDonald. It's actually kind of funny. We're in my hometown of Nelson right now. All four of us doing a gig, so I get to spend some time with my family here as well as my touring family here. But yeah, I've been. When did I start singing with?
Last summer.
Last
right?
summer.
November. No, it was before that.
2017.
Mm-hmm.
2017 summer.
Yeah, summer of 2017. And yeah, it's just been a blast ever since. We've had some really good memories together already, and I can't wait.
It's neat too, you know. Obviously, I've been your agent for a while now, and it's interesting because when members of a group flow and change, there can initially be a little bit of, let's say, kind of stress or nervousness. How's it going to gel? And it's so cool because with you guys, with your group, people initially might be like, oh my God, their sound was so perfect. How are they going to copy that? And it's not like you even copy it. It's like you ratchet it up. You keep ratcheting it up, and it's amazing to really see that. And for me, it's been such an honor to have worked with you in the early days when I thought you were great at that point, but just to see the level of both the, I would say the stage presence that you bring, the synergy together, and then the vocal offset that is so angelic. I mean, that's the feedback I get, is that word, tons, is so angelic, is this beautiful fusion of this pop sound and this opera sound. Whereas a lot of the opera groups tend to be either one or the other. They don't, they don't have the contrasting characters. And I think that's a huge distinguishing factor for you guys.
As well, they're usually, a lot of the classical crossover groups are just males.
Right.
Yes.
There's been a couple of just females, but there's not any that have the male and female combination, which allows for so much more richness and so many more avenues you can take with one simple song that is known to the ear. You can really transform it with the 4 different voices, the 2 pop, the 2 classical. It really, it's so much fun to explore what we do when we take just a regular standard song. For example, The Prayer by David Foster, which is one of our favorites to sing and is a huge hit. Just being able to add our own vocal flares to it. It's just, yeah. I mean, I love it because I love hearing it. To me, it feels like it takes it to that next level.
Yeah, and just adding on to, if you look at our website, the one thing it says is 4 beautiful voices, 1 glorious sound. And I feel like this really does give the definition to that as well, because we're very individual in our own vocal styles. And you'll see that when you come see our shows, that we're extremely individual singers. But when we're all singing in harmony, I think we make a lot of compromises to make that one glorious sound,
Yes.
It's really kind of magical.
Yeah. Gabe is actually from a musical theater classical background.
Oh, neat. Okay. Fabulous. And one of the other really great feedback that is consistent for you guys is that you're just so head on with your choices of repertoire in there, because sometimes they're, I don't want to call them throwaway songs, but they're definitely the highlight songs in some people's repertoire, and then they're like, okay, how are we going to fill the rest of it? And with you guys, it's just, how do you pick your songs? Like some of the, and how do you keep it evolving the way that you do? I mean, it's like, if you have heard Vivace last year and you hear them again this year, it's continued to grow in the repertoire, not just in your stage presence and vocally.
A lot of it is keeping in mind our demographic and what they grew up on. So, for example, on our CD now, some of the songs that we've included are Dream On, Beautiful Day. So we tried to hit like different decades. We also have like Caccini's Ave Maria, which is like a classical standard, but it's done with a different arrangement. We also have Caruso, which is an Italian standard. So we try to keep within the pop, the classical Italian vein, but then at the same time, we'll explore different songs that our fans and our listeners and the people that will be at our concerts that they grew up on and will relate to. So it creates memories for them as well.
And I just want to add that a lot of the music that we pick, we like to go for songs that are emotionally driven. Something that, like Tiffany said, everybody in the audience can pick 1 song in the show or 2 songs or 3 songs and connect with it. So as our shows evolve and as we build our set lists, I think we spend a lot of time and attention into what people are going to receive and what they're going to expect or want coming to a show if they hadn't per se heard us before. So we want to leave an impact.
The other thing too is, as opera is a dying art, unfortunately, that's kind of what has been happening over the past little while is we'll try to encourage people to explore opera still, and so we'll bring the pop element to it, so then it'll get listeners more open to listening to that style as well.
It makes it much more accessible, for sure.
Even for a younger demographic.
Yeah.
But then also trying to sneak in little operatic nuances into the pop songs as well, like in our title track, Diamonds.
New album!
Yes, new album coming out. Any particular date? I'm speaking of due dates. In case you haven't noticed, we have a mommy. Yes, a mommy here. Yes, Tiffany, you might as well. When is this little wonderful darling new Vivace fan expected?
So in 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh, right? I mean, this is dedication. This is their level of dedication here.
I wasn't sure if they were on a flight yesterday.
Yes, it's incredible.
We've all attended birthing classes just in case.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God. So you're gonna have a new one, and you're gonna have a new release. When is the due date for the new release as well?
Well, we haven't completely. We had some. We recorded the album in June, and there was some complications with getting things done on time. So we actually, this was only printed a few days ago.
It was a rush order.
As a rush order. So we want to have like a release that we can celebrate and not just like throw together and everything like that. So we were thinking.
We're thinking of postponing until January.
Till January.
We're trying to get it out in December.
Yeah.
But we're thinking start of January would probably be the perfect time.
Yeah.
And that was great. We'll go back on tour in January.
To coordinate it with the tour.
So we'll be able to release and tour at the same time and promote the new album.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, personal favorites on this new release?
Dream
Dream
my
On.
favorite.
Dream On.
Yeah.
Dream On.
It was gonna be my favorite, but I'd have to tell you it's Caruso now. I really like Caruso.
Oh, I've heard that version. Ooh, you want to hear this version if you're watching this. I promise you, it's so exciting.
One of my personal favorites is Beautiful Day. I come from more of a pop rock background. I love rock music. So to take a U2 classic like Beautiful Day and put 4-part harmonies and melodic background vocals and rhythmic beats, and it's a really unique song to put 4 voices into.
Yeah.
And I think you're all really gonna enjoy it because it's so different.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
Like it brings emotes happiness.
It
like
really
just
does.
Listening to kind of like the U2 one, but just like on the next level.
Yeah, and we shot a beautiful music video for it that should be coming soon too.
Yeah.
A magnificent background with mountains and water, and it should be really cool. So.
Wow.
It is Ave Maria. Have to say.
Yeah.
Sorry to be the black sheep.
We're divided
it
here.
Is,
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, I also really like the Dream On because it's such. I mean, you think Aerosmith, you think super rock, but the way that we do it is very much in the classical crossover style, and I feel like it's like the definition of who we are is that song really.
It's very orchestral. We had a string quartet come in and work on it too.
Yeah,
It was
phenomenal.
It was actually the one song on the album that we all off the top were like, we should do this song. Yeah. It was the first song we agreed on.
Yeah.
But that, like being in the studio for the week that we were doing this, the amount of times where all of us just kind of sat back and went, "Whoa, that's so cool!" You know. So I think that one of the most important things to drive home is we're extremely proud of this album, and especially the new tracks. We're extremely excited to share them. You know, it's work that we've been working our butts off for, and I think it's really paid off. And we're excited.
Now, who does the arrangements? Because your arrangements are spectacular.
Roy Tan.
Oh, okay. So Roy Tan of Roy and Rosemary does that. Okay. Oh my God. No wonder you're in such great hands. That's fantastic. Wow. Wonderful. And so as you embark on this tour, what is life on the road like for Vivace?
Oh, well, fun is the first word that comes to mind.
It's fun.
Fun.
We get to explore a lot.
Lots of eating and lots of hours in the gym.
Yeah, I hope not in service stations and stuff.
So I've not been to the gym yet. Sweet. Awesome. Is there any sort of memory from the road that kind of stands out? Whoa, that you would care to share with us, I guess I should say.
Okay. There's this one that I care to share. We were doing a live on stage tour. This was quite a few years ago, and one of the old members and I, we were booking all the hotels, and we were on kind of a tight budget, but we really wanted to stay in Miami, and we found this hostel, and the hostel had private rooms, and online it looked
Glorious.
great. They had like beautiful blue sheets, they had flowers in the corner, and like private rooms. So we booked like this private room suite. We rolled in pretty late at night, and it was like a hostel. It was let's just say it was a nightmare, and it was not worth having saved the extra like couple $100, because that was the first time the group was actually like, our poor musicians were like not happy. We arrived and we're like, we had this private suite book. They're like, oh no, someone's already in there and all his stuff's in there. We're gonna have to get his stuff. It was just like, when you travel and you're a teenager and you're like, yes, hostel. But yeah, it's just different when you roll in really late after doing a show, and so that was lesson learned. No more. I think it was called Bikini Hostel. No more hostels.
It was a very hostile environment. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a room in the back, and we had two girls like roll in at like 3 a.m. to get to their room through our room.
Yeah, no one slept. Everyone was like a little bit either just like nervous that their stuff would get stolen, or nervous for it was basically a free for all room. It was one night and just horrible. So
that was really testing your road warrior grit.
Yeah.
Really
And the audition for the group.
Yeah, and the fun thing is
My boss was you can last the night.
yeah, we never. Fortunately, it never shows, right? All the things that you have to go through to get there and be elegant and relaxed and demure on stage. Meanwhile, you're like in a hostel with crazy people, and that's wild. That's wild. So let's see. Have we missed anything? Oh yeah. Go ahead and brag a little bit. Speaking of all these shows, you have like a phenomenal number of shows under your belt now.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Since 2010, we're just over 150 shows now as Vivace.
That's awesome. That is phenomenal. Yeah, because this is all on top of the like solo careers and other things like some of you may have actually had Vivace. Some of you may, for example, Tiffany, I know, has also been doing this Celebrate Celine that some of you may have. So it's the really kind of cool thing about that is that, obviously if you've had Vivace and the caliber of her voice, it translates perfectly for Celine. And if you've had that Celine, then it translates beautifully. It sets up perfectly for the whole group project of Vivace. So it's really extraordinary what you all managed to do, and to just really be giving your heart and soul to Vivace like this. So now, I know you've done some outreaches as well. How fun is that, working usually with youth is usually what you're doing, like masterclass or, that kind of environment. Does that kind of feel rewarding for you to know that you're passing along this kind of heritage? And the creativity, because you guys are so out of the box,
Yeah, honestly, that's been some of my favorite moments of touring completely, is doing the outreaches.
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Like just we've had young kids who have never heard opera before, and when they hear the high notes, they're just the reactions are pretty priceless, like those, or they just don't know how to react, and it's so great because otherwise they wouldn't maybe be exposed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. They we usually do because the outreaches have generally been like half hour to 45 minutes. So we start out by doing like a couple songs, then we take questions, and the questions that some of them come up with are really really outstanding, or like, how high can you sing that high, stuff like that. And just yeah, and just we talk a lot about where our background is, where we came from, because we all came from such different musical upbringings and different parts of like the world, really. So we all have these different and what inspired us to start singing and to start training also is very different for all of us. So it's kind of it's nice to see their reactions, and it feels like, you know, it doesn't matter, you just have to put the work in and be dedicated, and you can be here too. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take that much unless you're dedicated and put in the work. And if you're good, that also helps, you know. But
exactly. Well, I mean, part of the thing is that you guys are also good. I mean, I'm going to name drop a little bit too. I mean, you can't be mediocre and do things like open for Katy Perry like you guys have, which, you know, how awesome was that as an experience?
Unreal. That was really surreal.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. Like when we saw her name on the list.
Yeah, because we didn't actually know till last minute, because it was kind of top secret. And we had one of our songs was a Katy Perry song that we were like, okay, can you pick? And then they didn't pick it. And we were kind of surprised because it was one of her hits, and we thought, well, we can do it well. But we weren't doing that song because we were actually opening for her, which we didn't know till like probably the week of. I was like, is that like a different Katy Perry host with another name, or is that the Katy Perry? And so when we realized it was like, we're like, whoa, this is pretty amazing. It's like a huge honor and unreal experience to do that. Yeah.
That was one of the most insane corporate gig experiences that I've ever witnessed, for sure.
Yeah.
Very well.
And I think it also says something about the viability of opera as a genre, that it is becoming more and more less for like the social elite that opera was, right? With the opera component. Plus, I think, I mean, it's got to be cool for like you men, especially because you're cool, hip, young guys, and you make this up much straighter when I say that. Yes, indeed. But you're cool, hip guys, and you are in a opera group, and it's cool to be doing that. And the youth, going back to the youth too, I mean, to say that, you know, you open for Katy Perry and you're cool and you're hip and you're singing opera. I mean, that must be really, really neat actually for you guys.
Yeah, and I think the target behind anything in music is music has the ability to change lives, and it has the ability to bring people together. And that's what I love so much about Vivace, because we do target so many backgrounds, that we can unite so many people in one audience that wouldn't necessarily be together. And I just think that's the power of music. We've seen it through history so many times. So it is really cool to be a part of that, and to try to make classical music a little bit more hip and current.
Accessible.
And accessible, absolutely. So it's cool. I think it's life-changing, absolutely.
Wonderful. Wow. Well, that's kind of a nice place to leave it, because it is the power to change lives. And it really is. It's I think that for me has always been why I think those of us who have chosen to be in the arts is really for those, especially those 2 hours, or even listening to the music when you're in an environment, it has the ability, music soothes the wild beast, right? And to really, especially, there's never been a time, I think, that needs the arts and needs beautiful music and beautiful voices and people to commit to the arts and touring and stay in the hostels if they have to, but to make the world a better place in connecting directly and emotionally. So, and nobody does it like you guys. You're just, Vivace is just heavenly, and the raves are amazing. So, anything else you'd like to share that we haven't touched upon?
Well, I feel like we're blessed to have you as an agent, because you really are, I mean, other than our families, our number one advocate, and you always have our back, and we adore you. We're very lucky to have you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I did not pay them to do that. I Thank you guys so much. It's just such an honor to be entrusted with your growth. And, if you haven't invited Vivace to be part of your season yet, make this the year. This new release is so exciting. I have heard, yes, I have heard many of those songs, like the songs that we talked about, are those going to be included in the tour going forward?
Yes, yeah, we've already done 3. We have 3 as part of our Christmas program. We have kind of more of like Christmas thing going on right now, but we have 3 on the new album because we're hoping to sell it and promote it.
Wonderful, wonderful, yay. So definitely something to look forward to. So awesome, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule, I can say, to do this for all of us. It's amazing, and you guys are just super wonderful. I can't wait to hear No Baby Delivery, at least until tomorrow. Okay. And love you guys, and we will see you on the road.
Yes.
All right, bye everybody. Thanks for
Can we actually get a picture with you? Like